Did you hear Sean and Ashley are engaged to get married?
Hey, Betty. You're my girlfriend. You damn well my girlfriend, Betty. Damn well her.
You're not happy about that, huh?
I'm not happy, Betty. Damn well my wife. Damn well my girlfriend.
What are you going to do to Sean?
I'm gonna kick your butt. That's what I want to do. Damn well my woman.
Listen, listen. Don't hit me. No, you can't see me, dude. Look, you showing off for the camera. You're famous. Listen, I see you how you show off for the camera. You went, hey, camera.
Damn well my girlfriend.
You just took off running before he started filming. Listen, oh. Listen.
Welcome to the third edition of BuccsWeekly of the 2022 season, 2022-23 school year. And what way to start it with a video of a Scubanator giving Sean Knapp the business. That was pretty cool on Friday night. But we're sitting here with Coach Austin Morgan, and the Bucks dropped their opening game against St. Henry. And we really got to give props to St. Henry. Really good football team. Mm-hmm. And their kids played with a lot of effort in class, and hopefully our kids kind of noticed that.
Oh yeah, big time. St. Henry has a pretty big tradition of that's who they are. They always play tough. They always play hard. They're really well coached, and they got some good athletes too. I mean, it's all around. It's a heck of a team. They'll probably make it deeper in the playoffs this year again. And they're playing in one of the hardest conferences in the state, the MAC, right? And so they're used to having these kind of games, right? So it was good for kids to see that, kind of see what that looks like when you have the effort, execution, all this stuff going the right way. So that's awesome. Coach Listener at St. Henry, he's an awesome coach. Those kids play really hard. So yeah, it's a heck of a team.
And early on, the very first drive, we made them earn it. I mean, our defense really played. Then we made some mistakes and things kind of snowballed on us. And a lot of times when that happens, kids hang their heads and things like that. But our kids never hung their heads, and they played hard for 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. And that's really got to be gratifying. Yeah.
You mentioned that first drive. On film Saturday morning, we shined a lot of. There's a lot of great things that happened on Friday night, last Friday night. And that first drive was one of them. There was one big play in that drive, but the other 9 plays they took, it was a long drive. And they had to drive the entire field to score. So that was our defense playing really, really well. So, obviously the scoreboard didn't go the right way, at the end of the game. But our kids can look at that film and say, there's a lot of great things in there that if we can take those things out and eliminate some of the negative stuff, how much better could we be? But you also mentioned the kids and this kind of the mentality and attitude of the kids. I can probably tell you 100 different stories on Friday of great energy and effort. The one that really stood out to me was, I think it was the third quarter, one of our sophomores, Ashton Garner, they just scored a touchdown, and most teams would have heads down, maybe complaining, whining, or whatever it might be. Ashton's running down the sideline, jumping up and down, screaming, like, kickoff team, let's go. He's screaming, getting all juiced up. And you could tell the scoreboard didn't matter to him. It was fully about what's next. So what now, what's next? What's the next thing we got to do? And to him, it was have a great kickoff return rep, right? So it was cool to see that, and like I said, there's tons of examples of those type of things. Just our attitude and effort was really well on Friday.
Well, and some of the examples were, some of the younger kids really made some nice plays. There was a play there where Dalen Garrett tipped a pass up in the air. St. Henry, went for a pass, and he tipped it up in the air, and Jack Blumenstock intercepts it.
Yep.
That was a big stop for us. And then another situation, I think they returned a punt down to our four-yard line, and they had first and goal at the 4. And Zane Limp had 2 stops in the backfield,
Yep.
and then Garrett Listener had a stop in the backfield, and we stopped him at like 12 or 15 on that possession. So those are really positive situations right there.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's like I said, we have young guys on the team, and the things they're doing, honestly, if you take away the scoreboard and just look at those kids and what they're doing, I mean, they're maximizing their potential. They're freshmen, sophomores out there who are making varsity plays that usually you don't expect freshmen and sophomores to make. Like you mentioned, that the heads-up pick by Jack Blumenstock. I mean, he's in coverage and the ball's tipped in there. It takes usually an experienced varsity guy to go check the ball down and make the play. Jack's a sophomore, and he went and did that, right? So there's a lot of cool things going on with those guys. Once we can kind of, like I said earlier, get some of these things ironed out and get them all on the same page, I think we'll be surprised what some of these kids can do.
What was also really nice is the senior leadership of D'Anthony Bennett and Brian Morrison. They also made a big defensive play. Brian forced a fumble that D'Anthony recovered, but throughout the contest, their positive energy really kind of spread out through the younger kids too.
Oh yeah, they set a great standard of what a leader looks like. You know, it's awesome when you have, if you're a kid and you're, you know, maybe you just got driving down the field on, maybe you get your butt kicked a little bit, and you look beside you and you see Brian Morrison clapping his hands, cheering, keeping guys up. It's really hard to be negative in that situation. So what those guys do and a couple other leaders that we have on the team, they make it hard to be negative on the sideline. You know, they make it hard to hang your head because they're so positive and they're so uplifting that it's hard to be opposite of them. So they're doing a great job. And
then after the game, you know, you guys always meet post-game and you kind of reflect on everything. And Brian and D'Anthony address some of the little things that that everybody needs to do to get better. And one thing I noticed that Brian said was taking notes during film session.
Yeah.
And those are little things like that just that leadership, that man, that kid thinks of that.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that because that was a huge thing for us. We got so many young guys that when you see these guys that pay attention to the smallest details, that just shows where their mindset's at right now, right? When we were over there was no one getting mad and yelling at somebody else, and yelling like you need to do it. Like it was, hey guys, we got some stuff we got to work on. Here's the things, and they laid it out in a mature, responsible way. And then Saturday morning film was awesome, right? We walked out of Saturday morning film with tons of great fixes and tons of like, oh, that's how I do that. Okay, because of our intentionality with the way we do things, because of guys like Brian, D'Anthony, Garrett, Derek Meyer, all those guys in there. Like, because of what they're doing, it's making the young guys be held accountable. And it's really cool because a lot of times when you have a team with, you know, maybe bigger numbers, some of those freshmen and sophomore kind of get lost in the mix a little bit, and they sit in the back and they don't take notes or they don't listen or ask questions because they're scared to. Mm-hmm. Well, now they're being kind of forced to the front and having to do these things as a freshman or a sophomore, and it might be uncomfortable now, it might be a little rough now, but at the end of the day, it's going to be really great with some of those guys. Hey, Cody. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's going to be really cool with some of those guys having that opportunity as a freshman and a sophomore, right? Where they might not get, and that's where they're getting a year or two head start in a film room, which is rough at times because, you know, they're a year freshman, sophomore. But at the end of the day, when they're juniors and seniors looking back, I think they're going to be grateful that they had the opportunity to be where they're at right now. So
we'll be back and we'll talk with senior Brian Morrison. Also, we're going to talk with Garrett Listener, and then we'll come back later and talk with Coach Morgan about this upcoming week with Mechanicsburg. We're here with senior Brian Morrison, and he had a great game last week against St. Henry. And Brian, you know, there was times in the game where things didn't go our way. And a lot of times kids get down on themselves, but that didn't happen with us. And a lot of that is attributed to the leadership of yourself, D'Anthony Bennett, and Garrett Listener. So what did you guys do to keep everybody up and focused on what they needed to do?
We kind of just like kept up the positivity and stuff, because that's a big thing. Always being positive helps a lot of people. And we learn, we do skull sessions, and we learn this word is so what, now what. It's like a phrase. And so just saying that so what, now what, this happened, so what, now what are we going to do to come back from that? And we kind of use that, doing all that, and handshakes, hand touches, making sure everybody's kind of touching each other, making sure we're all staying up and stuff like that. I feel like that kind of helps us a lot in the field.
Now, what was the overall attitude on the field? Was it pretty positive throughout the entire game?
Yeah, I feel like it was. I feel like maybe a couple of times, if there was they had a big play, maybe we got a couple of us had our heads down a couple of times, but their heads weren't down for real, and we always got right back up. They were right back up for the next play.
And this week we play at Mechanicsburg, and you guys, of course, had a week of practice, addressed some of the things from last week. So, as a team, what do you want to see out of everybody this week?
I just want to see execution. Us just doing our jobs, trusting each other, making sure we're doing the right thing on the field, keeping our positivity up at the last game, making sure that everybody's heads are held high, no matter what's going on.
Okay, well, good job. Good luck this week, and look forward to another good night of growth. Up next, we'll talk to sophomore linebacker, tight end, Garrett Listener. Okay, we're here with sophomore linebacker, tight end, Garrett Listener. And Garrett, you've kind of emerged as a leader in your sophomore year. Can you kind of talk about that and how your mentality of stepping up as a leader this year?
Yeah, I came in at the end of freshman year. I kind of realized how big of a role I was going to be playing in the team, and so from the end of my at the end of my freshman year, I had a idea of how much I was going to be a part of the leadership role in the team, and throughout the whole off season, putting in work in the weights and everything, I just always thought about like how much am I actually going to be able to impact the team with how I'm going to lead, and I had some big shoes to fill, so that was definitely a reason why I came into it hard, and I wanted to make sure I hit it right on the head whenever I was coming into it.
So what was your mentality in the off season? Because I noticed in the weight room, I come in a few times and shot some of the video, and I noticed you were really pushing hard and kind of getting some of the other kids motivated too. So what was your mentality throughout that process?
I wanted the kids, the younger kids, and even the new sophomores or even the existing sophomores to see how much work I'd put in last year that I didn't think anybody realized, just the amount of work I put in. And all of it didn't really show last year, but I think as I started working in the weight room, it really showed because how much I've worked on my mindset and on just the weights in general.
Let's go back a year ago to the Bethel game. If my memory serves me right, Connor Sindelier was out with an injury. We had a few kids out with injuries, and you came in and started. Was that your first start?
Yep, that was my first start.
And you had a really, really good game. How much did that boost your confidence?
It boosted it a lot, and it kind of helped me settle into being on the field with all the pressure and having such a big leadership role. That was really the big eye opener. This role is going to be tough, but if I can do it as a freshman, filling in for a senior and still come out with a win and play one of my best games I've played, that kind of helped me boost my confidence and show me that I got this now and I just got to build on it.
Okay, so what are your goals individually and as a team? What are your goals for this year?
Team-wise, I just want to show everybody how much work we all do and we all put in every day. And then as an individual, I just want to build my leadership role inside the team and build on some stats.
Okay, well, that's nice talking to you, Garrett. It's good to see you, and we'll be watching you the rest of the year and look forward to more and more improvement in your growth.
All right.
You're only a sophomore. You got a good career ahead of you.
Yeah.
Next up, we'll finish up with Coach Morgan and talk about the upcoming opponent, Mechanicsburg. We're back with the Week 3 edition of BuccsWeekly 2022-23 season with Coach Morgan. And Coach, before we talk about this week's opponent, Mechanicsburg, the junior high team just played Fort Laramie the other night, and that was pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, shout out to Fort Laramie. They're a heck of a team too. They had some big boys out there. But our junior high team, man, those kids, they play so hard, and there's so much potential with all those guys. I mean, I can just sit here and list off names of just kids who made a big play here, big play there. I mean, some of the few that stand out, obviously, the Trenton Havener boy had a huge play here in the end zone. Landon Castle, a couple handful of big plays. Jordan Miller, Gunnar Udeman running really hard.
He's a 7th grader.
7th grade, just running hard. It was. We had the high school kids on the sideline. And you just watch their faces. They were so excited to be a part of the junior high, watching what they're doing out here, and they were cheering those guys on. And I just love watching the high school guys interact with the junior high guys, because those junior high kids think the high school guys are, they think they're it. So it was a cool. Those kids they're awesome to watch. The junior high boys, they're awesome to watch. So it was fun.
Well, it was 0-0 at halftime, and when you showed up, when you and the high school boys showed up in the second half, it's like they picked it up a notch.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome to watch. Oh, they're like, oh, they're here watching us. And, and you could just see them, you know, they really took to that.
Yeah, they're like I said, they're a cool bunch of kids. Like tons of potential with those boys. Yeah.
Okay, well this week the Bucks travel over to Mechanicsburg, another really solid program traditionally. They're a perennial playoff team. So tell us about this year's version of Mechanicsburg and what we're going to face this weekend.
Yeah, they're kind of typical Mechanicsburg. If you guys don't know Mechanicsburg, they're over towards Champaign County area a little bit. And they're a tough program, small school, really tough. They're a run-heavy team, and their mindset is they want to run the ball at you and make you stop the run. And they're aggressive and they're tough about it. So it's a good challenge for our kids to kind of see where, you know, physically toughness where we stand against a team like Mechanicsburg, who they're going to bring in on Friday. So I love the challenge, love the opportunity. They're a team that makes you execute the right way, and there's going to be times where you probably don't, right? But we have it on film, and we get to show the boys on Saturday morning and fix mistakes. And I think it's a good chance for our boys to go out and showcase what they can do.
What do you want to see out of the kids as far as what are the expectations to see out of the kids taking that next step of improvement?
Yeah, well, I mean, always talk about playing green and playing hard. The cool thing we would see this week is if we can continue playing hard like we did week one, but add a little more execution to those things. We've been talking a lot about marrying the execution to the effort, because I think our kids give a ton of effort. And at times they're going so hard that they forget to do the little things right. So if we can keep that effort and intensity that they've been showing all year long, and then start to get a little of the small details like your first step, your head placement, your hand placement, get those little things right here and there, I think we'll see a massive improvement.
Well, the Bucks play at Mechanicsburg on Friday night. Set game times at 7 o'clock. We hope to see you guys there to continue to watch these young Buccaneers improve. They're just getting better and better. They're working harder and harder, and things are just going to keep progressing.
Yep.
So that's it for week 3 of the 2023 season of Bucks Weekly, and go Bucks.
Go Bucks.